Now, this is the story of how Bob Palmer became the pilot of my TIGERCAT. He influenced Harold Price over the years. Harold Price influenced me, and I'm not sure if I ever influenced anybody. Now, since posting the video of the TIGERCAT, I had several people ask me, why is Bob Palmer the pilot of the TIGERCAT? Why did I pick him and not somebody else? Well, I thought that'd make a subject for a great little video, some maybe unknown facts, maybe something even you don't know. Well, I have some video of an interview that I did with Bob Palmer when he was at BRODAK'S. He was at several of them, more than one in fact. And I think it's interesting, just when you have that footage, it's a sin not to share it with people. But anyway, when I built this, I just picked somebody that had influenced me, and he influenced me in a strange way. It's hard to imagine this, but when I first met Harold Price, he loved Bob Palmer's designs. In fact, if you look at the Valkyrie real close, there's a lot of influence of the Thunderbird in it. And he actually, I found out after we'd been to his shop for the first time, hanging on a wall was a red Thunderbird with lightning bolts that maybe he stole his airfoil or something. I don't know. It's too late to argue about it. But anyway, interesting stuff. Harold Price influenced me. Bob Palmer influenced him. Maybe some of these videos are going to influence you. I don't know. But I know it's a lot of fun looking back at this old footage. Let's go to the footage. To get some input from Bob Palmer. What do you think? Do you think those wingtips are the right shape? Yeah, you wouldn't put nobler tips on anything for all the money in the world, right? Hey, George, we're talking about you. Forget those noblers, right? Ooh. That's right. And for anybody who doesn't know, Bob Palmer has an all-new design, the T-Bird 4. Gonna have plans available pretty soon. Elliot's gonna draw plans. Bob's gonna make so much money, he's gonna be coming in a limo next year.
And take us all to Dairy Queen every night.
We're going to take him to Dairy Queen as soon as we get done flying. They said Palmer can only hold one Dairy Queen. We're going to see if he can hold two. You will today. Yeah. Oh, that's high-tech stuff. Boy, oh, George wouldn't even know what that is. No. What's that? Really? Yeah, no, yeah. He's a good motors, baby. Well, we got to fly. I hope we got 6 in the order there. I think 4 or 5 left. And enjoy the flight. Let's hope we make it. And then it's off to Dairy Queen. I want to thank Harold Price's daughter, Patricia, for sharing these photos and slides. She went through a lot of effort to get some of this stuff to me and get it into a digital format. This is his Crusader. If you looked at this from a lot of angles, you see there's a lot of Thunderbird influence on it. A relatively short tail moment arm, elliptical tips. He did the little cuff on the wing. I think that was his custom feature. But you can see the influence already. And the fact that he built Thunderbirds before these models, and this one looks like the first Defiant, not the one with the dihedral. This looks like the first one, but I don't know. Maybe it's not the Defiant. It's just another modified Thunderbird. I don't know, but it was in the collection of pictures that I got from his daughter Patricia. Now, I corresponded with Bob many, many times, and I'd always get these beautiful handwritten letters that would always have a little cat with a cat face on the bottom of them. And Bob, of course, being a legend, I looked up to him, and I was really always anxious to hear what he had to say. And his theories about design, and the flap ratios were 3:2, not 1:1. And it was always the most fun of all, poking fun with when George and Bob were on the same field at BRODAK'S, if I remember right. And we were going back and forth about who did this and who did that, and who stole this airfoil from this guy, and who stole his banana pancakes. It was really fun. And looking back at that little interview, and I do have other footage of Bob that I'm going to try to dig up. The problem is a lot of my discs are all over the world now. So if somebody has the disc with the other Bob Palmer or George Aldrich interviews, please send it to me and I can make some more videos. But anyway, right now, having that interview, when somebody passes on and you know they've influenced your life, having a little memento like this little short footage, to me, this is priceless stuff. You just can't buy it. You just can't go to the store and buy it. So during the time that I was building the TIGERCAT, and there was a lot of extra work went into this because it's got a carbon fiber fuselage. I had to make molds. I had to develop some of the technology. To get the paint to stick to that carbon fiber, I had to use silk span to do that. And needless to say, there's a lot of innovative stuff in this plane. There's more control horns and push rods and ball joints and everything. But in the end, it all seemed to work out really nice to me. In fact, when we had the big fun fly at the end of the Nats, and everybody got to fly it, many people, everybody had the same feeling that it probably was a pretty good plane, pretty good design, and whatever. It's just something I wanted to have on my bucket list, was to build what I thought would be a very cool twin-engine plane. I think I accomplished that, and it was nice that I was able to pay a very small tribute to somebody who influenced me through Harold Price along the way. And Bob, you really did, and I hope you really appreciate this little tribute on my plane. Now, because Bob was at BRODAK'S this year, I think it's 2003 or 4, and we had brought out the B-25, and he seemed to be very interested in it. And I know he was waiting to see me fly it. I figured we have a little time on the end of this video. I'd put this flight on. This is a flight from BRODAK'S, and Rich Jacobone, always my assistant launching this. And you always needed a bunch of tools and electric starters and batteries, and got so involved at one time. And people are always walking in and taking pictures and whatever. And it turned out to be that I know the influence, the original influence that Bob Palmer had on Harold and Harold had on me, somewhere wound up in all my planes. I don't know how much or where it came from originally before Bob, but I know he influenced.
John made a longer runway. He got his arm. He's really holding it. Bob, you would do a nice job on those runners. You could take them right down to that first finish line. And I wouldn't even break the propeller. Absolutely. Whatever one you like that. There's really only two of them following the class. Green ball. still windy. Hey, is it the V-class set off?
All right, Wendy.
Now, Bob and I had an interesting conversation at appearance judging. Now, I had built one of these. This is the most modern of the Thunderbirds with the differential flaps, the inverted engine, bubble canopy. I had built one of the original ones with the upright engine, and needless to say, my skill level at that point was building and flying really low, but I always thought that was one of the coolest looking planes. I loved the elliptical wing, and it just, the design itself, I think it lives on in a lot of other people's designs, and always an interesting point, and you could argue it forever. Who's the greatest designer of all time? Who had the most influence? Whose airfoil was stolen by what person? And in the end, it doesn't really matter. If you're enjoying the event and you're building planes you enjoy building and flying, I guess it doesn't matter. But it's certainly, to me, an interesting thing to look around and see how many people have had a really positive effect on the event. It's amazing to me. And I don't want to name names because I'll leave somebody out, but a lot of people, when you look at appearance judging like this, you look back and there's a lot of legends, some of them that have had giant influence, and I think Bob Palmer is one of them. So that's really the story of how Bob Palmer became the pilot of my TIGERCAT. I'm not sure everybody would find that to be as interesting as I do. I find it to be fascinating, and Bob and Harold Price, of course, both were influenced most of my life. This is a classic picture of the B-25 after the landing at BRODAK'S. Look close at some of the faces. That's pretty cool. So I hope you did enjoy the video, enjoy that flight at BRODAK'S, enjoy the little interview with Bob Palmer, some of the pictures from our archives. And if you did, please take a second, hit the like button. I appreciate your supporting the channel, needless to say. And as I always say at the end of every video, guys, thank you so much for watching.